Hello, I am 13 years old and I live in Turkey. I am only one of the 2,850,000,000 children in the world. Sometimes I think about whether being a child is something good or not, something you may also be thinking from time to time. And you might say, great that I'm a child, or you might also say, I wish I was not a child. What does being a child mean? Always playing games? I don't think so. Not being responsible of anything? Instead, I can't finish to count my responsibilities. Besides, the adults are fond of counting them for some reason. Does it mean to study always? For some of us, I would say yes. Or to be a child means to get ready for the future only. Everybody is curious of what I would become in the future. Even more than me sometimes. But not that still. So what does it mean to be a child? Convention on the Rights of the Child is explaining this to us. UN Convention on the Rights of the Child explains the rights of every children in the world, also including the 22,600,000 children in Turkey that they possess only for being a child. This convention is the most universally accepted international document ever in the world. 193 countries have signed the convention. Turkey is among those countries. United Nations opened the convention to signature in 1989, Turkey signed 1990 and ratified in 1995. By ratifying it, Turkey has promised to guarantee the rights of all children in the country and to appropriate all its laws and implementations in accordance. This convention, which regards everyone under 18 as a child, involves all the rights of the children. So are you curious about the convention involves? This convention is established over 4 founding principles. The first one is never discriminating among children. That is, children's rights are for every children. It does not matter where they are born, what language they speak, what religion they have, and what color they are. Moreover, no child could be discriminated due to religion and views of their elders. Second principle is to regard the best interest of the child in every instance. So what does it mean? Those who make the laws and implementations concerning children have to consider our best interest always. The state takes the essential measures so that those adults who bear the responsibility of protecting and taking care of the children can accomplish these responsibilities. The third principle is to protect the rights of every child to life and development. The very responsibility of everyone who are responsible of children, namely the family, the society, and the state, is to protect the lives of children and to ensure their healthy development. The last principle among the 4 is the right to participation of children. This principle says that every child has the freedom of expression, and every child is entitled to the right to impart on all those matters in his or her interest. Correspondingly, everybody bears the responsibility to listen and respect the views of children. Of course, the rights of the child are not limited to these principles, but these are the founding principles guaranteeing the fulfillment of the rights of the child that I will tell about in a little while. To guarantee the fulfillment of all the rights in this convention, everybody who is responsible, namely the state, the family, the society, must make every effort. The state bears the responsibility to respect the rights of all the responsibility bearers, especially the parents, while making efforts to fulfill the rights of the child. Also, the state is responsible of the fulfillment of every child of his or her rights. But of course, it is not only state but the families, the society, and hence each of us is responsible of the implementation of this convention. But what about the rights that are mentioned in the convention? Not easy to count: education, health, shelter, play. But first of all, an identity. All of us, every child has a right to an identity. I am talking about our entitlement to right to have an identity and citizenship. Think about how difficult it would be to live without names. Hence, the state registers every child when she or he is born and gives him or her an identity card. Protection of our names, citizenship rights, and family bonds is very important. None of them could be charged forcibly or taken from us. Who could ever have the right to take our identity from us? Also, living with our family is our right. But sometimes our parents may be in a situation that they cannot look after and protect us. In that situation, the state might have to provide the services of care and protection. But one should never forget that we have the right to see our parents regularly during the provision. And if our parents are separated and we live in a different house, a different city or country, that one or both of our parents, we have the right to see our mother and father at ease. The states have the responsibility to ensure this. On the other hand, no one can take us along from some place to another without the permission of our parents. Of course, not to those placed abroad. Such a thought is permitted by no means. The state has the responsibility to protect us from those who could ever think about doing this. We have many other rights I continue to tell about. And for instance, as I was saying, every one of us have a right to freely express his or her views. But not to forget, we bear the responsibility to respect others' rights when we exercise this right. And did you know that we have the right to assemble peacefully with our friends, right to be a member of associations and even to establish them? And every child has the right to choose his or her religion, and the parents have the responsibility to guide him or her. Did you see? Being a child is not simple to escape with a few words. We have many rights I continue to tell about. We also have a right to privacy like adults. I mean, nobody can be involved in those personal matters that we do not want to share, or personal belongings, or diary, or room, or our personal bag. No one can ever publish our photograph anywhere without our and our parents' permission in a magazine, in a paper, on TV, or through the internet. Like in all other cases, our right to privacy is also guaranteed by law. Another right of ours is to receive information and accession to media. The states know the importance of the communication means for our development, like the newspapers, the internet, TV. But still, they have to protect us from potential harm. Enjoying our right, we can access to every information and document that will not affect us negatively. This right is also very important for our right to enjoy our own culture. If you have noticed, the state has a huge responsibility to implement this convention. For instance, if our parents are short of taking care of us, or if they treat us badly, the state has the responsibility to take the essential measures to warn our parents and to protect us. The state is also responsible of searching for the most appropriate family for those children who have lost their parents. Sometimes the children might have to migrate to other countries with or without their families due to bad conditions in their own country. We also have rights in such situation. The news states that the children go to have the responsibility to guarantee the rights of those children as well. The convention did not forget those children who have special needs. Some of us may be disabled from birth or not. Our disabilities means that we have some special needs. In such conditions, the state has to provide us with essential care and education regarding our special needs. And of course, all the children are unique and special. The state should provide the most appropriate health services for all of us, not only for those of us with special needs. For us not to be ill and to live healthily, the birth, vaccination, feeding and health services provided for us and the environmental conditions that we live in should be adequate. The state should provide us the necessary conditions to guarantee a better life for us. Maybe you are curious about where is our right to education. Here it comes. The basic education has to be free and compulsory for every child. Like all our other rights, our right to education should be provided without discrimination. Of course, this education should ensure and enhance the respect for one's own and other cultures, respect to human rights and respect for nature. And also, we may face a situation that some children might not know the language of the country they live in. They may be members of another culture or religion. In such a situation, again, the state bears the responsibility to ensure healthy development of children in every educational level. Also, the educational institutions have to be a place that you enjoy and you learn all of your rights. What about our right to free time and play? We need other places than educational institutions to ensure that we may make a value of our free time, that we may develop ourselves like playgrounds, child clubs, libraries, sports centers, and likewise. And of course, these should be easily accessible. Because playing and participating in such activities is an essential part of our development. Besides, no one can ever make us forcibly work in any type of work. We can work after a minimum age, and if only the work does not negatively affect our lives, our development and education. And the earliest age for this is 50. And also there is the issue of unhealthy habits and situations. The state, our families, and the society bear the responsibility to protect us from all the harmful substances, bad behavior, violence, sexual abuse, and human trafficking. In any such case, the state has to protect us and punish the criminals. But there are things that we can also do. If we think that we are treated badly, if someone exerts violence on us, or we are abused, we have to tell about this to an adult or our teacher that we trust and ask for his or her help. One of our rights as a child is that our freedom can never be infringed in any situation, even if we are engaged in crimes. If a child is driven towards a crime, the trial process and the decisions to be made should be appropriate for a child. And this means that deprivation of freedom has to be a last option as a measure. There are many things that can be done for a child driven towards crime before punishment. Another right of ours is to be protected not to be affected by armed conflicts. Because unfortunately, the societies cannot always live in peace and conflicts arise and they even make war. But we all have the right to live in peace and be protected from war. Moreover, no one even think of engaging children as soldiers. Children have to be subject to specific protection in conflict zones. And if the children have to be subject to maltreatment, violence, abuse, conflict or war, those who are responsible have to provide services for recovery. And measures should be taken so that they are never subject to such situation. The state is also responsible for the dissemination of all the rights in this convention, just like how I explain it to you now. The state has the responsibility to tell about this convention to all the children and the adults. And there is a committee which follows this convention in the international arena. The state and the non-governmental organizations prepare separate reports about the situation of child rights in a country. And the committee makes comments on country reports by comparing the information provided and asking questions to the states about the reports. Being a child means having so many rights. Don't you think so? Being a child is to be a child who enjoys his or her rights. And now that I have told you the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, while I told you what being a child means. But there are many things that you may learn about this convention. There are 3 more additional protocols, for instance. One is about the rights of the children in conflict zones and another about the protection of children from sexual abuse. The last one is the newest. It is about the individual application of those children to UN. Those children who cannot find a solution to the violation of their rights in their own country. There are internet sites that you may surf through to learn more about this convention. I wish all of us a childhood that we enjoy, all of ours with exception. If we think that some of our rights are violated, we may ask help from our family, our school, or from other institutions of the state. Don't forget, we are also responsible for the fulfillment of our rights.